Hey, what it do, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again. And hey, it's been a minute, but it's been a rough season. It's been a rough life. It's been a rough 2024. All of that, and I know there's a lot to talk about. And I think I'm gonna do an end of the season live stream talk about this season and everything that happened, things that didn't happen, things that should have happened, so on and so forth. So, as you all know, today Ezekiel Elliott got released. This ends his second stint with the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, everybody knows he was with the Patriots last year. This season, he had 226 yards and 3 touchdowns. Very minuscule year for him because, of course, Rico Jones was the lead guy, and a lot of people even questioned why Zeke was even back on the team in the first place. But for me, I've always loved Zeke. This is his home. This is where he started his career, and he was dominant early in his career, and he deserves to retire at Dallas Cowboy. Now, his release today was his own doing. He went to the staff and said, "Hey," the front office and said, "Hey, couldn't y'all release me?" I'm sure that the reason being that he probably wants to go to a team that's still playing in the playoffs. He still wants to play. He still has stuff left in the tank. I believe that the Dallas Cowboys could have done better with him this year as far as running him and doing different things because him and Saquon Barkley, I believe they came in about the same time. Saquon just ran for 2,000 something yards this season. I don't understand why we can't get Zeke to do some of those things. I know Zeke is not the player that he was in 2016, but he is a bruiser back. He is a guy that is a red zone guy. He can get you the ball in the end zone. We didn't use him a lot this year for those purposes, which we should have more, I felt like. But he could never get into a rhythm this year. The thing with the running back position, you have to continue having them play, because if you only have them playing a play here, a play there, they never get into a rhythm. So they may fumble here, something may happen, and they don't get any yardage because they're not getting any footing. They're not being able to use their vision and see what's going on in the field. You have to give them time to do that. They did that with Rico Jones. Shout out to Rico Jones. Jones got 1,000 yards this season, the first time in his career, and he's the first guy in Cowboys history as a running back free agent, an undrafted running back. He's the first time in history, in Cowboys history, going over 1,000 yards. So shout out to Rico Jones for getting his 1,000 yards. Now the question is, will he be the lead back next year? I don't know. Who knows? There's a lot to talk about for next year. I know that they were talking to Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer about them possibly coming back next year. My thing is this: as much as I love Mike McCarthy, as much as I respect him as a coach and things that he's done in his career, if he comes back, I think that he needs to get a young play caller in here, someone to help him with. Because I like the scheme that he has, it's fine, but because San Francisco runs the same thing, they're able to run different things out of that playbook. You can do the same thing. We have the talent to do so, but again, I just feel like we're not utilizing things properly, and I just think that with somebody younger, somebody with some fresh ideas, just like these other younger coordinators out here getting it done, I think Cowboys just need that as well. As far as Mike Zimmer goes, he was basically saying in his press conference that, we know Mike Zimmer of the old back in the day when he was with the Cowboys when they won the Super Bowl in the early 90s, that, he was known for being a hard-nosed coach. Hey, you either do it my way or your ass sits on the pine pony. But this year he came in not as mean or strict on these guys, I think because he felt like in the beginning he didn't want to rock the boat. He knew this defense was good coming in because Dan Quinn had these guys good, and he knew that the players loved their old coach Dan Quinn. He didn't want to come in rocking the boat early And, having these players like, who is this guy talking to me like this? You just my stepdaddy. You ain't my daddy. You know how that go. But, I just feel like, him coming in, I guess he just didn't want to rock the boat. So he just kind of was like, all right, well, let me feel these guys, let them feel me out. Pause. Let them learn the playbook, learn what I'm trying to implement, and this is the reason why they got Eric Kendricks, because he knows Zimmer's scheme, and that's why Kendricks became very good in his defense, because he knew the scheme and he was able to help other players move. Unfortunately, we had a lot of injuries on defense, a lot of them. I mean, it got to the point where it's like, damn, like every week somebody was going down. Somebody else going on IR. I mean, we only had one game with both Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland. That's crazy. And the fact that they still came back and started winning games, and you got to give them credit for what they did with the little that they had. Now the question is, does both Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer want to come back as head coaches? Nobody's really asking that question. Everybody's saying, is Jerry Jones going to resign them? Do they want to come back? Mike Zimmer, he's an older coach. He sat out a year last year, and he came back as, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, and he maybe he's thinking, maybe I should retire as a defensive coordinator. Now, if Mike Zimmer decides that he doesn't want to come back to be the defensive coordinator, I really would love to see Al Harris move up and be the defensive coordinator, because when Deron Bland got on this team and when Trayvon Diggs got drafted, both of those guys, he developed those corners and got those guys to where they are now. And he is like, I think, the second Dan Quinn, because he was under Dan Quinn in this defense, and I feel like Al Harris was coaching these secondary guys up, and I really think that he's learned enough now, both not just under Dan Quinn but under Zimmer as well. I think that he can be the next defensive coordinator for this team and be great. Now, there's other guys out there. Robert Saleh's out there. He coached the 49ers. He coached the Bears defense, things like that. So, I mean, I just feel like there's coaches out there that's available that you can get if Zimmer doesn't come back. But we'll talk more about that once the season is over. We got one more game against the Commanders. A lot of fans that I've talked to said that we should have tanked a long time ago. I'm not really a fan of tanking, because I'm always a guy that wants to be competitive. But I do understand the narrative of wanting to get a higher draft pick. But who do you want at this point? Because you already know whoever's picking number one getting Travis Hunter. So outside of that, who you going to get? Alshon Jenti, I know a lot of people want him, but is he really that great of a running back? I really think the Dallas Cowboys need a wide receiver in the first round. I'm gonna say this because you look at these other teams; they got a two-punch. You look at the Eagles; they got both AJ Brown and Smith. Those are those top two wide receivers. Most teams have two guys. You look at the Rams; they got Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. When you look at this, it's funny because I asked people that are not Cowboy fans. I said, can you name any other wide receiver on the Dallas Cowboys? And I'm not talking about Dallas Cowboy fans. We know our players. But I'm just saying, I asked other players of other fans of other teams, can you name any wide receiver on this team other than CeeDee Lamb? And most people would say, I've only heard somebody say Brandon Cooks, and somebody said, who's that little fast guy you got? Oh, you mean Turpin? Yeah, so those are the only two guys that they said. I'm like, damn, Tolbert ain't getting no love. Brooks ain't getting no love. Well, Brooks ain't even get a paycheck this last game because he got into a fight in the game and he got kicked out, and his fines were so big, it literally snatched his whole paycheck for this week. So he ain't even get paid this week. So, it is what it is. But I'll tell you this. It's going to be a lot to talk about this offseason, and it sucks that the Dallas Cowboys are not going to the playoffs this year, but You look at the Eagles and you look at their team and what they're doing right now. I mean, it's funny. It's funny how a team works with a good running back, right? I feel like we're just a running back away on offense. Oh, and a wide receiver. You need both of those. But we'll talk more about that as we approach the offseason. I know we got this game coming up against the Commanders. It don't matter to us, but it matters to them. Me personally, I always want to beat the Commanders. Living here in the DMV, I always want to beat the Commanders. But right now, I think we're picking 13th in the draft. Do you want to sacrifice that spot by trying to beat a team in your division for nothing? Or do you just want to just go there and be like, oh, it's just a game? And, you know, it's really hard for a guy that's competitive like me because I want to see them win, but I also want to be like, you know what, just get the draft pick and just get up out of here. Get ready for the offseason. Get all the guys injured, Trayvon Diggs, Dak Prescott, DeMarvion, Overshown, Sam Williams, all the injured guys. Amari, Aurorier, all of these guys that need to come back and play again. So let me know what you guys think in the comment box about how the season went. Try to get a end of season live stream going so we can chat with you guys and see what's going on. But Happy New Year's to everybody. If you out tonight, be safe. Don't drink and drive. I've already seen a lot of accidents out there today, so you know, let's everybody survive to 2025, and we'll see you in 2025. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. Peace out.